DJ Pitch Pants, this one's for you.
What's up, everyone? It's Dave from the Medal of Honor channel, and it's that time of the month again. End of the month. It's time for the vinyl collection update. Just kind of going through some of the stuff that I've added this month. A little over a dozen albums that I put in my collection. There was a record show that came to town, so I got a bunch of cool used stuff from that. I'm not going to go over the ones that I did reviews on already. But everything else here, as usual, I'm going to go through this with starting mellow and working our way up to the heaviness, and got something extra special to focus on towards the end, actually the last record. But let's go ahead and get started. So, okay, I'm 99% metal, maybe 99.5% metal. But every now and then, especially when nostalgia kicks in, you know, you get something a little bit different, and I wouldn't have even shown this on here except for I happen to know a lot of diehard metal fans who are into this, and even Dave Ingram of Benediction I know happens to like this album a lot. So the first one I'm going to put in here is Billy Joel's The Stranger. This is definitely nostalgia for me. I just grew up listening to this. My dad, you know, playing this record in the house, and I can still remember all the sizzle and pop of putting the needle down and listening to Moving Out, the first track on here, and you know, the whole album is just musically, it's incredible actually. So yeah, a little different, I know, but had to add this when I saw it. So yeah, this came out in 1977 on CBS Records, I believe. So it's a classic. Okay, I know it's not metal. Everything else, you know, would be heavier than this, but you know, I had to throw that in there. So that's the first one I got. Now up next, we're going to be a little bit more on the, I guess, glammy side of things. A 2014 reissue of a very classic hair band album. It's Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. This originally came out in 1986 on Mercury Records. It's a classic. I mean, yeah, you know, so many big radio hits on it. The songs that I really, you know, always liked were songs like Let It Rock and Raise Your Hands and stuff like that. But you know, I played in a band that covered one, Dead or Alive, before, so yeah, you know, it was a great album. I gotta admit that. I'm not a massive Bon Jovi fan, but you know, it's classic. So this one did come with I believe a 180. Let's see. Here we go. 180 gram vinyl. So it's black. Most of these, I mean, I won't show you a lot of these in the vinyl, just because it's just going to be black most of the time, but there you go. So of course I had to add some Kiss to the collection. Paul Stanley's solo album from the 4 solo albums, of course, and this one of the 4 definitely is the most Kiss sounding, I guess. Just some really cool rock songs on here. Tonight You Belong to Me is a great song. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? A lot of good stuff. Of course, it, you know, has the sleeve that has the 4 pictures. This one I don't have the poster, the puzzle poster, or any of the ordering forms. I do really like, though, that on the vinyl for these, that each one kind of, they put their face inside of the traditional Kiss Casablanca Records logos there. So these were released in 1978. Great albums. I mean, it's Kiss, of course. And since I got that one, I also found Jeans. This one, interesting, has a lot more of a, probably, I mean, it's still a rock album. It's still Kiss, but there's a lot more Motown vibe on this album. And interesting, they ended the album, he ended the album, I should say, with When You Wish Upon a Star. Obviously Jiminy Cricket, Disney, and I mean, talk about some Disney childhood nostalgia. Just hearing it, the production on it, and the symphony that they use with it, it's really beautiful, actually. So yeah, anyway, I I haven't put the Catman in my Kiss collection yet. I'll get his next. Alright, up next, metalheads know this band. This is a band called Alcatraz. And this is Live Sentence, No Parole for rock and roll. This was a killer band in the 80s, you know, the kind of dual lead, heavy hard rock band. It's pretty metal, and one of the cool things about it is that there's some high shredding involved, because that's Yngwie Malmsteen right there, guitar player extraordinaire. If you don't know Yngwie Malmsteen, you don't know metal, so this should be in your collection. This one is from 1984. It's interesting that the guy had the sticker on this. I got this at the record show, and he had the sticker on it being mixed by Les Claypool. I don't think that it's the same Les Claypool as Primus, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be. But interesting though. But this one is on Polydor Records and also Rockshire Records. I think this was a Japan release, actually, this particular one. And speaking of Polydor, we also have some more Yngwie. I picked this one up too, Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. Seriously, like, I mean, Yngwie's just, he's up there with legendary guitar players as, you know, Van Halen and Steve Vai and Randy Rhoads and all that. He's that level of skill. I mean, you know, one of those guys that plays with full orchestras and stuff. And so yeah, this one, and this is Polygram Records. Sorry, I know that there's versions of this on Polydor, but not this one. Okay, up next was one that I've been wanting to get this for a while, just because this guitar work is always been phenomenal to me in any of the bands he's done, and it's kind of a center of a bit of contention right now for a lot of people, but I really love the guitar work of John Schaefer, especially in Iced Earth. But I've been seeing this one out for a while now, Demons and Wizards. This was a side project. This one, actually, he did this in, I believe it was 99, and this one that I have here is a reissue. First of all, let me show you all the detailed art here. And it's very much power metal. It's in the same vein as, you know, it's what he does. You know, same vein as what he did with Iced Earth. I don't care about politics. I don't care about you know, what he's accused of doing or not doing, because quite frankly, I mean, half the black metal bands are in prison for far worse than anything that he did. But a beautiful book here that comes along with it. And this one does have some colored vinyl. Let me see, this is, I'm going to show you the other one for a reason here. They are both in a purple vinyl. And what's really cool about it is side D has an etched vinyl. Let me see if I can get it there, and we'll see if the light will work with me on reflecting it. I don't know if you can see that very well on there, but it's basically the album cover etched into the purple. So very cool stuff. Very epic, as the true sense of the word here, for this Demons and Wizards. This was their first, I think, of 3 Demons and Wizards albums. This re-release is from 2019, and it's on Century Media. Up next is another live album. This was a cool find, because I happened to find it in a FYE here that has hardly any records. And what was cool about it is I'd never heard of it before. And it is this Pantera live at Dynamo Open Air 1998. I had never heard of this particular album, and this one is from, I believe, 2018. Yes, 2018 on Dynamo Concerts record. So Dynamo Open Air, apparently they probably just record bands and then put out their own albums. It does come with a cool, this is not a Pantera poster, it's a poster of the event that shows all the different bands that played there. Quite a few. Really good recording. I mean, just obviously some of the best Pantera songs. But yeah, for a live album, I mean, it's definitely a really nice sounding record. and double album, of course, and it was just a nice surprise to find. Very cool Pantera. Alright, up next is, I talked about this a little bit on the Metalhead box video, but it's Benediction's Subconscious Terror. This one in particular is a re-release. Flogo Records put this one out. This was before our buddy Dave Ingram got in the band. It's their debut full-length album. And the cool thing about this one is, where is it? The vinyl variant. You got this pretty orange and yellow mixture going on there, so very cool to add that to the collection. Up next is a black metal band called Necro Sadist. The album is called Abstract Satan. This one comes out on Blood Harvest Records and has a few goodies with it. It's got a sort of a nice introduction, song title, song lyric kind of card to it, but also has nice artwork for the inner sleeve. And then it came with this gorgeous poster of the, let's see if I can get that open there. Come on, sucker. There we go. There we go. It's the cover, album cover poster. So really nice work. Now this is a black metal band, and it's very fast, very noisy, and interestingly enough, this is from 2011, I believe. And if you look them up on Discogs, this seemed to be the only full length that they had out. However, if you look up Necro Sadist on Spotify, you get two newer albums, not this one, and a different sound, definitely more guttural death metal. This is very much more black metal. So I don't know if there's any relation. I don't know if it was, the band gave up doing black metal and then decided to keep the name and go death metal, or if it's two completely different things, but there you go, something very interesting anyway. So now if you watch my Metalhead box video that I recently put out, you'll see on there that I had a Vader album on there that I got in the box, and I said, hey, I already have this if anyone's interested in trading. Well, a new friend reached out to me. His name's Andres, and he is up in Canada, and he sent me a message and said, hey man, I got some stuff you want to swap. And I said, yeah. And he sent me this album in exchange for that Vader album. This band is called Amiensis. These bands, you never know how to pronounce this shit. But the album is called Abreaction. It's on Transcending Records, which Transcending puts out some really cool stuff. Just be careful about pre-ordering anything for them, because you never know how fucking long it's going to take to get to you. That being said, though, so far most things that I've heard on Transcending Records, I really love the sound, and this is no exception. So they're listed as black metal slash progressive. I don't know, I guess there's probably a few other things in the mix too. I think there's quite a bit of doom in there. It is definitely very cavernous sounding. There is a lot of clean vocals. It's kind of dark and gothic at times as well. So it's actually really cool. This is kind of one of those albums that for me is something great to put on the background if I want to do something artistic. Gets a really cool vibe flowing for me. Another one of those here. So I really dig this band, Amiensis. Now, for the last album, this one also came from our friend Andres. He actually, we were talking back and forth a little bit, and he was telling me that he had his own label. He actually has a YouTube show as well, where he was telling me that basically it's all in Spanish. And I don't really speak Spanish. I had it in high school. I remember cerveza, this beer, and yeah, that's about it. But But anyway, so Andrea said, hey, you know, if I sent you something, would you talk about it on your show? And I said, yeah, what you got? And he basically told me he has his own label. It's called Infastu Negas is the label name. And I'm going to make sure I put a link on here for you guys to check this out, because he sent me this record. And this is a band called, I'm gonna say it's Tenebrarum. Tenebrarum. That sounds about right for Spanish pronunciation. I hope that's right. Nice dark looking album here. It is called El Voelo De Las Almas. Now, this album, I don't know, I can't tell you, like, you know, like I said, this is all in this is Colombian, by the way, Colombian band. And everything on here is pretty much in Spanish, except for some of the credits there. I found, you know, just from looking things up, it looks like this album was originally recorded in 1994, and then Andre's label must have picked them up and just put this one out as a 2020 release, a reissue, basically. And when he let me hear some of it, I said, yes, absolutely, send me that. I want to talk about it on here, because this is a really unique sound, because, you know, metal is a universal language all on its own. At first I thought, well, you know, everything's in Spanish, but you know what? I've got music by bands that are all in Norwegian. I've got, you know, bands that are singing in German. I mean, there's all kinds of you know, metal bands out there all around the world. It's the music that really makes it what unites us all. And I think with this album in particular, what's cool about it is I'm hearing a very different culture introduced into their music. Almost like, you know, like a lot of bands, when they come from a different country, you hear something about that culture embedded in the music. And you can hear some of Colombia embedded in this one. Now, this album, like I said, this originally was done in '94. But there's a really cool black metal slash gothic slash, yeah, you know, like cavernous kind of dark vibe to it. I would say probably some Colombian folk involved in there, because there's a lot of this string little like solo violin stuff. There is some female vocal styles, almost reminding me a little bit of like a Cradle of Filth sort of a thing. It's a really cool dark album, and has a very unusual vibe, and that's what I really like about it. I think something worth checking out. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video, so you can go check this out. You can check out the Bandcamp, you can get some digital songs, or pick up some vinyl. Show them some love, and you know, it's one of the cool things about, you know, heavy metal is, you know, it's something that everyone around the world can embrace. It doesn't have to just be an American thing or a European thing. Here it is, Colombian, and it's just as dark and badass as anything else. So check them out, Tenebrarum, El Voelo De Las Almas. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad, Andres. Alright, that's it for now. I did, of course, do you know, a few reviews. I did not get to my Honored Metal once again. Still waiting for the album to get here, so that's gonna be late. But anyway, that'll hold you over for now, and until next time, keep the horns up, keep the needle down.